Yep, okay, it arrived. It's a day late because it went to the wrong address, but all has been fixed. The Marvel Multiverse role-playing game Playtest rulebook, $9 plus change from Amazon, showed up. Here it is. I have read some of the early reviews. I don't know how this works. I mean, because some of the reviews were posted before it was sent, so I assume certain individuals, through the magic of, I don't know, can get early copies of this to review. One review said people were complaining about the price, but yeah, it's worth it because it's like 122 pages, excellent art, registered characters, trademark characters. So yeah, it's worth it, except of course it's, well, yeah, I guess it is 120 pages. So I guess they are right. It doesn't feel like 120 pages, but hey, this is the perfect size for a playtest / rulebook. And I don't know why people are complaining, because I've got another playtest here from a different company, and if you think this is, you know, expensive and too much and not worth the $10 because of 120 pages of playtest, let me just, hold on, show you. Oh yeah, that's the other playtest I got. So, print it out for a PDF. So, as somebody who's playtested before, this is impressive. So how does a paid playtest work as opposed to a regular playtest? That is the first question on my mind. Not the system, not whether it embraces the tradition of the previous Marvel role-playing games or not, whether it truly captures the feel of the MCU and a homage to, of course, you know, favorite Marvel, which if you've stuck around with me for more than 5 seconds, know that I consider in my top 3 one of the best, if not best, superhero role-playing game of all time. So, you know, I hold favorite Marvel in probably unrealistic pedestal. So how does paid playtest work? Because normally, if you've ever playtested before, you ask, they put you on a list. Maybe you're lucky enough to get a playtest copy. It's, you know, print, probably a PDF or just a print thing that's bound. It's going to be black and white. This is unbelievably rare to get a color like this with registered characters. I mean, the playtest character is usually Steve the Fighter or something like that, not Spider-Man. And then you go through it, you read it, you find, you know, anything from editing mistakes to mechanics that don't work, and then you submit. Maybe you get a second round of playtests, maybe you don't. And then the second round of playtests might be, okay, now we've edited and fixed and looked at stuff and changed stuff now. And then usually, you know, 2 or 3 rounds. The last playtest I did was like 3 rounds before it went to print. So, and then it finally goes to print. Hopefully you're lucky, your name is on the list. Maybe you get a sticker or something. I don't know. This is my first experience with paid playtest, which means, no, I'm not getting paid. I wish. I had to pay for this book. So, right here, we got Kamala on the computer. Now, obviously, the $10 is basically you're paying for the Marvel art and the 1 or 2 Marvel licensed character. But let's face it, you bought a $10 comic book with some rules in it. So, how does paid to playtest work? Played as your favorite Marvel superhero, defeated Hydra with friends, created your own characters. Now Marvel wants to know what you think. Visit marvelcom/RPG now to share your input on the playtest rules. Feedback from players like you will be used to refine and improve the final game. Then keep your eyes peeled for the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game core rulebook coming in 223, which will include more superhero profiles, more villain profiles, more power sets and powers, more origins, professions, and traits, more narrator tips, not tits, and more adventures, though, I don't know, some narrator tits could be nice, too. Head to marvels.com RPG now to share your feedback. Okay, so what this doesn't tell me is, do I get a free copy of the book? Products I have playtested in the past, once the playtest was over and it went to print, the playtesters got free copies. Do I get a free copy of the 300-page whatever when it's done in next year? or do I get my name on a list, or do I just get a sticker and a t-shirt? I don't know. Obviously, I'm going to play test the fuck out of this. But yeah, I wanted to give it out. I know a lot of people have already posted reviews of it. You know, I've read the complaints. I've read the good. Here's what I want. Do not be mutants and masterminds. Do not be class-based, level-based, because that has never worked in superheroes. Do not try and be D&D from superheroes. I want to see random powers, of course, because that was part of the joy of Phase Rip Marvel. But I don't want to see ridiculous random powers, because a lot of people don't like random powers. I like the idea of getting a random power and then sort of building off of it, which I think they do in this. If it's going to have levels and be like classes, then that's already going to be like turn me away, because that never works. Archetypes are fine, because archetypes sort of give you a defined, you know, but who in Marvel falls onto archetype? What the fuck is Spider-Man? I mean, he's a brick. He's a martial artist. He's an energy blaster. He's a scientist. He's a street-level superhero who can also go toe-to-toe with cosmic baddies. You know, so he doesn't really fall into any one specific niche. He's Spider-Man. Captain America's Captain America. He's not a brick. He's not a martial artist, you know. He's Captain America. So I hope maybe archetypes, but I don't want to see classes. I don't want to see levels. I know it's a 3D6 system, so I don't want to see any attempts to this to be D&D Marvel, because that will not work. I want to see random powers. I want to see random powers done well. I hope it's not point-based. I really don't want to see it trying to be another Mutants and Masterminds / Champions. I am not reading any of the other reviews. I'm just saying this is what I want. This is what I'm going into. If you want to capture the feel of the Marvel multiverse, both today and classic, you've got to embrace the fact that comic books are silly. And one of the many great things Phase Rip Marvel did, the reason why Phase Rip, in my opinion, captures the feel of comic books so well, is it didn't shy away from the fact that I lift it with my incredible Hulk-like strength. You know, it embraced the silliness of comic books at the time, and this should embrace it as the silliness of, you know, the Marvel Universe. It's already starting to fall apart. So, yes, we're paying for the art. We have introduction. We have core mechanics. We have character profiles. We have combat. We have creating a character. We have archetypes. Blaster, Bruiser, Genius, Polymath, Protector, and Striker. We have backstory traits. We have powers. We have some Marvel heroes. We have some setting expectation ways to play, working with ranks. Narrator tips. It's your narrator, not a game master. We've got some Inter Hydra, which is an adventure. We've got a glossary index, character sheet, and rules reference. So let's take a look at the character sheet. Their stats are, right? I think the thing was that they went for silly stats to try and embrace the previous Phase Rip. So instead, the stats are MARVEL, Marvel, instead of Phase Rip. Might, agility, resilience, vigilance, ego, and logic. You have some powers. You've got your karma. Good, they kept karma. Karma was a huge part of Marvel. It's one of the many reasons why Marvel Phase Rip worked. You were rewarded for being a hero and punished for not being a hero. Karma, experience points, luck, whatever you want to call it. That was a big thing about Marvel. Getting that karma, getting that public reaction, being a hero and being rewarded for being heroic. We've got traits, we've got, you know, personality, equipment, blah, blah, blah. We got a lot of art. You know, we've got sort of trying to look like the comic book. See, we've got a breakdown of who the character is, their origins, and then their stat breakdown, stuff like that. So let's find... an example character. And we got to go with, of course, Spidey, right? I mean, Spidey's going to be our everyman. He's going to be our, basic character to work off of. I believe, or I don't remember who it was, but somebody once said the best way to test a superhero system is, can you make Spider-Man in it? And if you can, it's a system that works. And if you can't make Spider-Man in it, then it's not a good system, because you should be able to make Spider-Man in pretty much any superhero system, because he's just sort of this all-around jack of all trades everyman. I mean, at the end of the day, Peter's just sort of a guy, right, who just happens to have a ridiculous set of powers that really don't make any sense, but they work for him because he's Spider-Man. All right, so we've got his stuff, we've got his powers, we've got his wall crawling, we've got his biography, we've got his whole, thing. He's written up like a comic book post from the, remember the old Marvel Guide to the Marvel Universe where they had all the characters, and yeah, so definitely embracing that. He is a polymath, so they have archetypes. If I wanted to build a character, do I have like random attacks? I'm hoping they add the random table. Please add the random table. It looks like it's got ranks instead of levels. I don't like that. So yeah, see here this. I'm 50-50 on levels. I mean, levels worked in Village of Vigilantes. Levels kind of worked in Heroes Unlimited, but, then really levels don't work for superheroes. There's the argument, Cap or Batman always saying the only reason why I defeated him was because my years of experience. The reason why Cap wins is he's like 35th level, right? And you add to that the skills. The reason why Batman wins is his years of experience. The reason why Wolverine wins is not only his powers, but his years of experience. And levels sort of resent that. So I'm 50-50 about levels in a superhero role-playing game. Part of me is like, yes. Part of me is like, stop trying to make it like D&D. So, yeah. I'm just giving my first impressions. I'm not looking at anything. We got a challenge rating. We got modifiers to a challenge rating. Looks like everything's based upon the D6. Somebody said it was a D20 system. I don't remember which review. People were like, I'm upset because it uses D20. I'm not seeing anything in here that would use a D20. I remember when we looked at the preview, we were confused how the math worked. But I guess the math is explained here on these little tables. Like you get pluses and minuses. So, I mean, if I wanted to build my own character, that's the other thing. Creating a character. Pick an archetype. Select your ability scores. Oh, points. No. Points bad. Yeah, so ability score points. What about powers? Do I have to spend points for powers too? Or is it just built into my archetype? What if I want powers that don't fit my archetype? Do I have to spend more? These are the questions I'm going to ask. Obviously, again, you're paying for the art. All right, so first impressions. Level based. Archetype based. 50-50. Points to get stats. No. Stop trying to be champions. How does the math work? That's what I gotta read. Yeah. The powers have prerequisites like feats. Yeah, I'm definitely starting to see the D&D Yeah. I mean, I know there's going to be things about this I absolutely hate because I am very picky when it comes to superhero role-playing games. But starting tomorrow, we're going to go through it. So hopefully stick with me for this journey into the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game. And what do we get as playtesters? Because that's going to be my big question. Not how much influence I have on this system. Not how much it's going to be like phase rip, because you can't repeat phase rip. Phase rip is phase rip. But how do I playtest? How much influence does our playtesting have? How many rounds of playtesting is there going to be? And what do I get for being a playtester? I spent $10 for this. I should get something, right? Stick with me as we go through the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game starting tomorrow, Thursday. I have been your guide to the Marvel Multiverse and all thing tabletop role-playing. The OGGM, if you appreciate this content, happy 420. Let me know. Like, share, subscribe, make mine Marvel, and in the immortal words of Stan Lee, who I met once at a Dodger game, Excelsior! See ya!